For oral answer, question number 1 in the name of Darroch Ball.
Thank you, sir. To the Minister for Social Development, does she stand by all her statements?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, yes, in the context in which they were made.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Darroch Ball.
How can she stand by her statement, quote, "Our vulnerable kids deserve the best support we can provide," end quote, when New Zealanders are sick and tired of years of these same empty words and bureaucracy of process and paper, and just want for once the children in state care to be safe?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Well, Mr Speaker, I'd say to that member, I share the concern, and that's why earlier this year I set up an expert panel with the express terms of reference to make a substantial change to the system that manages children in state care.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Darroch Ball.
Does her statement in reference to the 15th review/overhaul, quote, "this time we're going to do it properly," end quote, infer that for 7 years her government has been getting it wrong?
That's right. The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Well, Mr Speaker, the comments that I made about the 14 reviews were that I wasn't doing a 15th review and that I was doing a substantial overhaul of the system, and that's the difference. Well, I am absolutely determined to make sure that the new system that hopefully we are able to start implementing from next year, will put children and children's needs at the heart of whatever system we have.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Darroch Ball.
How does the Minister explain that 117 kids were abused in care last year, despite her government's relentless reviews, green papers, white papers, action plans and overhauls, 10 of which in 7 years have achieved nothing?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
I agree with the member that 117 cases is 117 too many. And we have to make sure that whatever system we put in place has the needs and the welfare of those children who are the most vulnerable in our communities at the very centre of the system.
Wasn't it before, Anne? Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Darroch Ball.
How many more kids in SIF's care, according to her ministry's statistics, will be abused by the time the next paper rolls out in December? And what commitment will she make now to stop that happening? Or is she just another Minister of Social Development delivering diddly squat?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, this is a very serious issue that affects thousands and thousands of New Zealand children, and I take the responsibility as a Minister extremely seriously. I want a system that actually delivers better outcomes for those children we take into state care. So I'm not going to rush into a knee-jerk reaction. I have appointed an expert panel who are looking at designing a complete overhaul of the SIF system.
Order.
So that we get good outcomes for those children.
Question number 2, Alistair Scott.
Thank you, Mr